Welcome back to Next Gen Investing. Time for FOMO. Joining me now to discuss Microsoft is Caroline Wood, Senior Markets Correspondent, and Kevin Green is back with us as well. Guys, Microsoft made a huge move post-earnings, really setting the tone, I would say, for the Magnificent Seven names a couple weeks back. It's building on that success today as it pops 1.7%. That said, though, Caroline, it's not as dramatic as the overall market.
Hey there, Alex. Yes, it's actually the worst performer of the Mag 7 today with this 1.7% pop, which just goes to show how much some of the other names are rallying. That being said, until Meta's 8% pop today, it was actually the best performing Mag 7 so far this year, and that's been sort of the theme today, that we've been seeing a lot of strength across the board following the tariff pause, or the slashing of tariffs between the U.S. and China for the next 90 days. But we have been seeing some weakness in some of the areas where investors have been hiding out, some of the outperforming sectors. So not seeing weakness in Microsoft today, but just not seeing quite as much strength there following this news. There's also this Financial Times report that Microsoft is actually revising the terms of its multi-billion-dollar partnership with ChatGPT parent company OpenAI. Microsoft is, of course, OpenAI's largest investor. It's committed some $13+ billion into the company since 2019. These revised terms would allow OpenAI to go public, actually, according to the FT, and they would also protect Microsoft's access to its cutting-edge AI models. The FT points out that a critical issue is really how much equity in OpenAI's new for-profit business Microsoft would receive in exchange for more than the $13 billion or plus that it has invested in the company to date. It said Microsoft is offering to give up some of its equity stake, actually, in exchange for access to new technology that's developed beyond 2030, which is the cutoff. That's when the contract actually runs out. They're also reporting that the two companies are rewriting the terms of a wider contract. So, as I said, Microsoft and OpenAI first unveiled this exclusive partnership back in 2019. We have seen some changes to the contract, especially just back in January. We saw Microsoft lose its status as the OpenAI's sole cloud provider. They changed some terms of the deal after entering a joint venture with Oracle and SoftBank to build data centers here in the U.S. But they did say that OpenAI made a new large commitment to Azure, which is Microsoft's AI cloud computing platform. So we have seen some changes there. But this new FT report would allow for OpenAI to go public, and it still continuing to give Microsoft access to its AI tools. So Microsoft shares up about almost 2% right now, and if you take a look, it's actually up about 6% year to date, so outperforming the majority of the Mag 7, aside from Meta now, which is a little bit higher following today's rally.
Caroline, do you still think that there's some regulatory hurdles for Microsoft and OpenAI, just given this odd structure that OpenAI is in, and then also some of the pushback that we've seen from, let's say, Elon Musk and xAI? Do you still think that that's still a cloud over both of these names?
It's hard to say from a stock price perspective, just because analysts are still bullish on this name. I think regulatory headwinds, regulatory overhang is, for all of the Mag 7, certainly a headwind there. But from where it goes from here, it's hard to say, just because if you take a look at the breakdown, 89% of analysts still rate Microsoft as a buy. That being said, if you take a look at the median price target of $500 a share, that only implies a little more than 10% upside, about 12% upside from current levels. So, if Microsoft shares are only less than 5% away from the highs, so analysts do see it revisiting those highs and pushing even higher. But it's not like there's a ton of upside potential based on some of the price targets that I've seen. But based on the fact that the majority of analysts, an overwhelming majority of analysts, are still very bullish on the name, it's hard to really determine just how much of a headwind that actually is.
Caroline Woods, always appreciate the insights as we look at one of the market generals in Microsoft. Caroline, of course, Senior Markets Correspondent here on the Schwab Network. Thanks as always.